Hi friends, today I'm going to talk about when is the right time to start speech therapy in my neurodiverse kid. So before going further into the detail, I'll just give a brief description about speech therapy. Speech therapy in neurodiverse kids addresses different language and communication challenges in those kids. It addresses and tries to resolve the verbal, non-verbal and social communication skills. Here, social communication skills means when your child is able to use verbal, non-verbal, different gestures, postures, attitude to interact in different social environments. What are the symptoms that indicates delay in speech, language and communication? Symptoms could be delayed onset of language development, problem in articulation, repetitive and stereotypic phrases and words, lack of proper appropriate vocabulary skills. Every neurodiverse kid is very or completely different from other kid, and that is a reason that we can't plan a single speech therapy plan for all the kids. My dear friends, why I am explaining you this thing is sometimes we feel a kid of 2.5 years has started taking speech therapy, then why not my neurodiverse kid with the age of 3 years? You know why? Because every kid communicative strength and needs are different. Now let's come back to our question. When is the right time to start speech therapy in my neurodiverse kid? So the answer is as soon as possible. As soon as you'll get the diagnosis from your psychologist, developmental pediatrician or your speech pathologist. Other things which we have to take into consideration is whether the child is facing lots of sensory issues. I have already explained about sensory issues in neurodiverse kid in my previous videos. You can check out description and connect with the link. Or whether the child is having lots of behavioral issues. When your kid is not into the self-regulatory zone because of different kind of sensory issues or because of different kind of behavioral issues, it is very difficult for a speech therapist to start speech therapy even though your child is eligible and diagnosed with speech delay. So first and the foremost thing what you need to do is we need to resolve these sensory issues and behavioral issues to that minimal level so that your child could easily start taking the speech therapy, and thus we will be getting the good prognosis as soon as possible. Sometimes a speech therapist also incorporate different alternative therapies if he or she faces problems in giving the speech therapy. For example, occupational therapy in case of sensory issue or behavioral therapy in case of different behavioral issues. For example, sitting intolerance, then refusal to accept any kind of request, too much seeking behaviors in the form of tactile seeking, proprioceptive seeking, vestibular seeking. In all these cases of sensory issues and behavioral issues, we have to take into consideration that child should attain a minimal level of self-regulation, self-regulatory zone to accept the speech therapy. Friends, here I am not saying that we should sit and wait until and unless all the sensory issues get resolved in your kid or until the behavioral issues are not up to the mark. And child should start accepting the speech stimulus from the speech therapist. One of the example I can give is imitation. So imitation is a communication technique that involves sound, facial expression, actions, which is really very crucial for the young kids who are just about to speak or are ready to speak. Imitation could be object imitation, body imitation, oral imitation, sound imitation, functional word imitation. So in all these imitation, child tries to copy the actions, facial expressions and sound of adult and thus move forward for developing the speech. So I think now you are able to understand what is the right time to start speech therapy. So right time to start speech therapy is first, proper diagnosis. Second, self-regulatory zone of your child with respect to different kind of sensory issues, with respect to different kind of behavioral issues. So parents, I hope that now you are able to understand that your wish, teachers' expectations, your anxiety or your priority is not the criteria to start speech therapy. It is the child capabilities. It is the child present levels of skills. It is a child self-regulation which helps him to start and take the speech stimulation from the speech pathologist and thus shows good amount of prognosis. Thank you so much. Thank you.